That's not right. Hold on. Well, I'm glad there's nothing incriminating on there. Why? This is very strange. Oh, that's the wrong thing. That's why. There we go. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry you had to see whatever that was. But, welcome back. And, tonight we are hopefully going to wrap up the prep for the Claude Ross Paintalong or whatever. What? Anyway. So, we have the interface pretty much done. I think, yeah, there's more work we could do on it. We need to, the most important thing is we need to clean up that text box that Claude talks in. And we might give Claude a voice so that he can, I think we will, yeah. Yeah, let's give Claude a voice. But first, we are going to have to write the piece of software that generates those subtitles. Wait, did we already? Hold on. Because episode prep? Oh, we already did it. Okay, shit, never mind. Huh. Wow, okay. Is it really? Or did we skip? No, we didn't. Oh, okay. Are the snaps in here? Yeah, I guess I underestimated how much I got done. So yeah, this is actually good. I'm not 100% happy. It needs a little tuning with where the snaps are. But yeah, I don't know. Let's just fire it up and see where we're at. Let's see here. I need to what do I need to at paintoff? Shit, I don't remember. It's either at paintoff or AI interface. Let's see here. Run the paintoff, Python at paintoff episode SRT. I think you have to go, maybe we should clean that up. Yeah, Python AI interface path to episode. Okay. So we got the venvactive. Python AI interface.py. And then it's just Bob Ross Wilderness Falls.mp4. Okay, that showed up on stream. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. Okay, we got... This will also tell us if we'll get in trouble for playing Bob Ross. So here we go. We got the episode. Let's send it. Why is Bob silent? Bob? Hello? Might be in my system settings. It's VLC, that's
While
MPV.
That,
there we go.
Usual, let me show you what I've got done up here.
Oh, God.
And I've cut the top of the canvas with liquid white, the bottom with liquid black, and I've just blended them together so you have a nice even flow of color here. It goes from white to
Claude
black.
painted his
And it's
canvas
easy.
black.
Shoot, let's have some fun today. I thought today maybe let's just do a painting. It's a lot of fun. Make you feel good in here. Start with a small amount of phthalo blue. Don't need much. It's very strong. Just a little. Just a tiny bit. Let's go up in here and let's just tap in all.
Let me
kinds of
monitor the
Just
YouTube
all
stream to
kinds of little
see
happy
if it
things.
gives
Tap,
me any
twirl,
copyright
whatever.
complaints. No?
Let's make a sky.
It's
that
not
has some life in
complaining.
it today. Just spinning all kinds of little
Okay.
doers like that. We're not too worried about them. Just have fun.
Now you'll notice Claude isn't doing anything
Should be a
right
good
now
time when you paint.
because he hasn't had a snap
That,
yet.
see? Just sort of
I
swirl.
may have to go in, yeah, probably for the actual
Get a small amount
the
of
actual
little
stream.
print
I'm
notes.
going to go in and do the snaps
Very
manually.
small amount, though.
Or at least
And
clean
it'll
them
give
up
it sort of a
manually.
reddish lavender because there's blue on there. And we'll let that
So the
bounce
first
in
snap
hand
should be
there,
coming up
whatever.
pretty quick.
Just a little. Just a little. And we can go back and get a little white here and there.
See, is the audio
Just a
balance
little
okay?
white on the brush.
There we go, got our snap.
And we'll just spin a little bit of that in there.
Bob has a colorful
Just
sky
varying
going.
colors.
I can
All
see
the
blues,
skies,
pinks,
it has-
lavenders, and white mixed
has
together in a
lot of
soft,
things
cloudy
happening
sky.
in it.
I need to build this up with
Each and
spray
every one of
layers.
these will be different.
You'll notice he says the bottom portion is grayish, which
The next
isn't
one we do
correct.
here will be different. So
Okay.
don't try to just copy now. Let yours be an individual. There.
Okay, he
Just
did
blend that a
some
little bit.
strokes.
And you can vary back and forth.
I think he got
Back
another
with a little
snap.
blue there. There. The blue is much stronger than any other color
There
up
we
here.
go.
So you have to sort of keep that in mind.
Okay, I see where he's going.
Blue will it'll get away from you sometime if you're not careful. And phthalo blue is such a strong, beautiful color. Might be just about my favorite color.
Indian.
There we go.
A few strokes.
There.
Welcome back, Miss One.
Warm blue. Some blues are very, very cold feeling. You have to put on a coat just to work with them.
And you'll notice he is going pretty
Has a little blue
slow.
in it. Something like that. That's probably all we're gonna need for that little sky. While I got the old brush dirty, I'm gonna put a little Prussian blue. And I'm gonna go right over this dark color. About like that. Just let it blend upward. See how easy that is to cover when you have the black on there? This black works wonderful for areas that you know in your painting are gonna have a lot of dark in them. It works wonderful. Now I'm gonna clean the brush. If you've painted with me before, you know that's the most fun part of the whole technique. And that's really the fun.
What black
It's just
corner? What are
beating
you
the
talking
brush here.
about? Is there a
Tell
glitch?
you what,
There might be a glitch because
let's have a little
I had to
black,
separate the
little
animated canvas
little
from
black,
the canvas that
a little
Claude
crimson,
sees.
little blue in
So
it.
it's possible that
Something like
Claude is looking at a different image.
Pour it out flat, cut across,
That
get
would
our
be
little-
bad.
And maybe in our world, a little mountain lives right there. I don't want much paint.
What?
Scrape off all the excess.
Black spots, Claude?
In fact, if it bothers you to scrape, add a little white to it. So that way it won't be so dark. I don't mind scraping the canvas hard. There. All
Okay, he
right.
sees the mountain. He replicated it.
Just a
Okay.
small
Looking
amount of
pretty
paint you
good.
can put on there. Just enough to stain the canvas. Now, back to our 2-inch brush. We wanna
Okay.
grab this and pull it. Just pull it. And then blend it outward. I want to make this very light. The lighter
Now he's
mountain
gonna
is the
extend
farther
his
in you look
mountain.
in your painting. If it's
Oh, yeah.
close to you, it'll be
Okay.
very distinct and dark. I want this one to live way back somewhere far away, so it's very light. There we are. Something about like that. You can just blend the entire thing a little.
Still no copyright alerts. I think we're getting away with it.
Okay, that's all. Little white, just a little. Maybe I'll put the least little touch of the bright red in it. Just enough.
Somewhat
We
impressive.
have a little
Yeah,
paint.
it's pretty
So
neat.
We'll have a little of that in here. Cut off our little roll of paint. Okay. Now, I don't want a lot of detail back here, so I'm gonna just put the
He's
tiniest
getting
little bit of
behind
color
again.
here. A little bit of white.
This is the problem, is that he's really
So, yeah, I
slow,
want this to look far away.
which is not surprising because we're using a very large
I
model.
don't want a lot of detail in it. Just enough to give the indication.
But
there's a
he
big
gets
mountain back
behind.
here. I don't even know what we'll do in the foreground exactly yet.
No, he's not too far behind.
Don't worry about it. That's what's so great about this style of painting. You can literally start off and only have a tiny
And now
area in
it
mind.
got too complicated for
Whatever
him.
you need.
Maybe.
Time of day probably to determine where your light's coming from. But other than that, you really don't have to make any major decisions when you first start. And I like that because about halfway through I'll probably change my mind anyway. A little blue, Prussian blue, a little white. Maybe a little more white. Lighten it up. Ooh, that's just perfect. A little roll of paint. Almost no
Okay,
color
I think
here.
he kind of skipped
Just
that
a
one.
hint.
Oh, here we go.
Just
The part of the problem is that he keeps getting pictures of. It's hard to see, but he keeps getting picture. He says Bob is still mixing paint on his palette. He's getting pictures of Bob mixing the paint.
Are just not using the right tools.
and very
I mean, yeah, we deliberately gave him shitty tools. We kind of got away from the original vision of
you can paint
an
anything
MS
firm.
Paint Bob Ross along
Without
because,
destroying
know,
it.
like
There. See?
we
Soft.
started adding tools that MS Paint doesn't have, But yeah,
All right. We just
I don't
pushed
know.
that little mountain back.
but yeah, he keeps getting shots that are poorly timed, and he gets a shot of Bob mixing on the palette, and he can't see the painting.
Just tap that brush.
So I'm gonna have, just gonna have to go in there manually off stream and clean those up. That'll be okay.
I want to just take some of these angles and begin coming downward with them. Make all kinds of little shapes. Grab another brush. I want to do something. I'll take a least little bit of Indian yellow.
See, this is the part where he starts to go off the rails.
Least little bit, and just blend it up.
Let's see what he does.
Just had an idea. I think if that's there, watch here. It'll create all kinds of little things happening down in here when we come across. Because this yellow, along with this blue, is going to give us a basic little green color.
Okay, he's doing okay. Yeah, I did some tuning on the spray tool. And, to be honest, when I left off, I thought I'd fucked it all up, but no, he's doing pretty well. Because he used to always, like, just drench the canvas in paint every time, whereas now he's a little more fluent with the tools. I went from giving him numbers for the spray tool to giving him words, very large, medium, for, yeah.
All these little hills and stuff that live back in
Ross's mountain is pretty LSD to begin with.
Ah, see, here we go. Now he's fucking it up.
there we are.
Also, he doesn't, like, if he sees that he fucks up, he doesn't undo. He just paints over it, which maybe that's okay. I don't know, maybe that's okay.
Far away.
You could have picked a different color, bud. If you're worried that it's too bright,
Another brush.
you choose the colors.
Now I want to create mist, so I'm going to tap the base of all this. But just the base. You can even add a little titanium white to your brush if you really want to create mist, but just a tiny bit.
Okay.
Tiny bit. And make all kinds of little soft areas in here. There we go. Wherever you think they should live.
Yeah, he's 8 frames behind.
Exactly where they should live. I like to make paintings sometimes.
He's right to go with gray for mist instead of green.
See, there he goes again. Motherfucker. What is wrong with you, Claude?
A lot of fun to do.
Oh, okay, he's happy with it. I guess he's happy. All right.
That lavender color we had.
Just fucking
I think that was
nuclear piss all over it. Fine.
We're gonna put some sap green in it, a little blue. Something about like
The mist is
white,
building up
red,
nicely.
Ooh, yeah, nice color. Nice color. Maybe a little
Nice
black
color.
too, just
Nice.
perfect.
Yeah, again, he's getting
Tap the
snaps
brush,
of
get a
the
little paint
fucking
on
the palette,
Now
not the
roll.
painting.
Maybe, yeah, you're right.
I can fix that. That's an
I wanna
easy
make an
fix.
Indication here of some little foothills.
Foot.
Some little footy hills that live right along. Where do they live? Make a big decision. You decide where they live. But just all kinds of little
Okay.
trees that live far up on the
He's
hill.
adding some
Notice
foothills.
Each layer is getting a little
Some
more
kind of
detail-
joke about feet in there, but we'll let it
more
go.
detail in it. There we go. Clean, dry brush. And I'm going to tap the base of this firmly, using the top corner of the
Firmly.
brush. Firmly, though. Firmly.
I do like that he's batching up his paint strokes, though.
Lift upward.
That's good.
See how soft that
These videos were the original Asmer.
can do that.
Yeah.
Same color. Same color, only
Can you imagine having to tune in? Well, I mean, with streams, we're back to that. You imagine
little blue.
having to tune in at a specific time to see a video you want, you know?
Should get darker. Yep, here we go. All kind of little things living right up in here. There. There's many, many ways of making foothills. But this is one of the easiest.
Okay, now he's
most
back
effective
to
that
the
I can
piss.
Try it. Try it before the series is over. We'll show you.
He always goes for the V large, V heavy, and I don't understand why.
There we go. Just have to decide where this one goes.
I think it's just kind of how he
All the way
is.
over here. Don't know if we even care at this point. We only make one decision at a time here.
I mean, it doesn't look that bad.
Back to our brush that we were using to create mist. And just mist the base of it. Just really get in there and mist it. Something about like that. already you can see planes, just one after the other, all the way up through this mountain. There's already a lot of depth in
Oh,
this.
sure.
Yeah,
Very
it's,
little.
that's a little heavy.
Shoot, that was fun. I'm gonna do it one more time. Same colors. Same colors.
And he never
Less
goes,
white,
even when he's
less
trying to
white.
blend, he never goes. I wonder if we need to add some guidance for how to, how to use the different. Yeah, let's maybe add some, so because I keep,
White in it, but not a lot.
part of the problem is that I keep,
I'm
let
using
me,
just the
let me see
corner
how
of
I can
the brush
arrange
here.
this,
Make some very basic little shapes.
and then do this.
I'm not looking for
There,
detail.
bang it off the side.
It's too far away. Much too far away. You don't
There we
see
go, you
a
can
relief
kinda
in
see
a
it.
tree this far away.
We should add some we should add some guidance to his prompts, telling him how to use the different
I got
the different levels. Where are the
Back here,
prompts?
let down.
They should be in here.
Just
Let me get my structure view.
Like that. Reflections are one of my absolute
Let's
favorite
see,
things
set
to
up
do in this
video.
technique. I'll put a little white on
Also, why is this all packed into whatever? It's not a
just
not a
a
big
little.
deal.
Don't overdo. Don't overdo. It gets working and it feels good, and next thing you know, you've overdone
The
it.
spray tool is
It'll come off
actually
very
quite
lightly.
good for replicating this kind of
Just to sort
painting.
move
Yeah, it is.
I like that.
It's definitely the closest you can get with, MS Paint.
It's up to you.
I thought about adding some tools that
Water.
For
Ac-
all those gradients.
yeah.
It's that easy.
I thought about adding some tools that actually simulate paint moving around on the canvas, but
Sometimes
I think that would kind of. We're already getting away from the
just to reflect some of that color out of the sky.
original premise of the stream, right?
Least little touch.
Because the idea is that I'm replicating a Bob Ross video with MS Paint, but it's not MS Paint. It's this custom shit, you know?
Water looks like
Oops.
it's level.
Knocking shit over. Where the hell are the tools?
Leave you. Take that same old dirty brush. go
See,
into
this is the problem with AI coding, is that now you want to do something simple and you don't know where anything is.
I want to make a little green color. In
This
my
is
mind, this area
information
right here
back
is
from
beginning to get close enough to
Anthropic.
us that we can make out color. Not making out a lot of detail yet, but we're getting some basic colors. Shape,
Display
form.
queue, render the current
Once again,
state,
Not getting a lot of detail yet.
run demo,
Too much detail can be disturbing to the eye. Because even if you're not aware,
entry
of it,
point. What the fuck?
the mind knows that things that are far away you can't see a lot of detail in.
Where are they?
Sometimes you're not aware of that.
There's all the MPV
Consciously, but
stuff.
subconsciously you are. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Where
I know you've looked at paintings and you'd say,
the
something's wrong with that painting. I don't know what it is, but something bothers my eye about that painting. And it can be something as simple as that. There we go. I'm just taking a fan brush with a little green on it. And just
It
sort of
should be in
pushing
here.
upward.
Tool use.
Just a little.
Huh?
Put a little liquid white in there to thin it.
What the fuck?
Thin paint. We'll stick to a thick paint. And also
Thread
want it to be a
channels?
little lighter in color so it shows up a little better. So the liquid white accomplishes that very easy.
I am confused.
About like
Where
that.
does the actual work get done?
A little more of the liquid white on the knife.
What the hell?
Put the least little touch of bright red in it. Just the least little touch.
Huh?
And then just take here and cut in a water line. Just cut it in.
It should all be in here, but it's not. It isn't even in this
Light it,
file.
break up between
Where the
colors.
fuck is it then?
About like that.
What the fuck?
All right. We don't even know
But
where that goes.
I don't understand.
At this
Okay.
point, we don't even care.
Is it in app Paintoff?
Don't even
It shouldn't be.
There. Few little ripples.
It is.
All those
No.
nice things. Find a fan brush.
See, also, there's a bunch of redundancy. You see that? There's two of
Fan
these.
brush, liquid white.
Is
Titanium
app
white.
Paintoff even used for
Put the
anything?
liquid white in there. Once
Is it?
again, only to thin the titanium white. Be right back.
Yeah?
Put a little
No,
blue.
it's not. This isn't
Come on,
used.
let's
Oh,
blue.
well, I'm a fucking idiot.
Ready to have some fun? Let's do it. It's your bravery test. Pretend you're water. And
I'm
you're
water.
floating along here one day. You're just having
I'm
a good
floating
time. You're
along.
not
I'm having a
bothering
good
anybody.
time.
It's a wonderful day. You're just floating along.
Just
enjoying
floating
the
along.
scenery, and all of a sudden, somebody pulled the stopper right out of your world. And
What the fuck?
and it goes
How could
over
they
it.
do that to me?
And there it goes. Just let it come right over. Choom. But if you go straight and then down.
LLM worker? That must be it. Okay, I see what it did. Because it had to, right. I understand now.
That's the reason we call it.
Because it has to be separate programs running in, well, not threads running in parallel. I'm trying to oversimplify. But,
Subscribe. We'll put a lot of nice rocks in this, but I just want some dark right along in here to get us started.
What?
Really get
get
in
rid of
there and
this.
mash it in. I want to have some fun today. Let me clean off a spot to work. Let's take black,
Let's alter this.
a little bit of Prussian
Use
blue, a little brown,
The,
maybe with a little crimson in it.
hair
And I'm gonna
on
take
the
paint
side of lighter
And I'm going to thin this color till it's
density.
quite thin,
Use
quite thin. Just use paint thinner. plain,
denser settings
paint
for...
preferably odorless, or you'll be working alone.
Use denser
Just
settings
mix it till it's
for
nice and thin.
putting...
Now then, I want to take
uh,
white
for laying
and a little
on
bit of black to make
lots
it
of
gray. There's a
color.
little blue there too, so
fine
I guess we're going to have a little blue in that too.
light
Mostly
and V-light for
black and white to make
blending
a nice gray
and
color.
details.
I like that, maybe a little darker. Phew, perfect. Let me get a little thinner.
Use
I want this to be thin
large
also.
size for
Now you remember our golden rule. A thin paint.
large
will stick to
size
thick
with
paint.
low
All I'm doing
density
here
for
is making me
mist
some fun
and
paint so
fog.
it'll stick to all that thick that
for
we have
blending.
already.
Large,
Okay, wipe off your
small
knife.
size for
Let's
details.
get us a little oval brush.
Let's
Oval
try
brushes
that.
are easy to distinguish. They're the only brush we have that has a black handle.
Use
And I did
for
that intentionally so you
blending
wouldn't get
after
confused. Load both
laying
sides full
down
of
color
See, both
with
sides. Now, take one side, only one, and go through that
spray
light color.
tool.
Dark, light. Now watch. Up here, in our world, lives a big old rock. Big old rock. Right there.
Don't
See?
forget you
Friend there.
have access to
Right.
the
Let's
full
just have some
RGB
fun.
color
Here comes
space.
one, comes right
If
over.
you don't like
There
the
it comes.
color you picked,
This is the nicest,
undo
easiest
and adjust.
ever found of making some gorgeous rocks. Now then, let's have some fun. Let's take black. some Prussian
Don't
blue,
be afraid
sap
to
green,
undo.
making
You
some
might
color
not
like
get
they
things
were
right the first
in
time.
our world. You ready? There lives. Decide where. Right there.
Okay, I also want to look at the tool descriptions.
And when we said big, today we mean big.
Where did he put
Big
those?
tree
There they
pushing
are.
upward.
Oh,
Just
it's a
pushing
waterfall.
upward.
Yeah.
There it comes. Big tree.
Strike along curve.
Big tree. Here it comes. There. Whew. I didn't realize how big that tree was. But that's okay. In our world, we can have a tree
Blaze
any size we
down
want. I know it's going to be
pixels
that big. I'd probably use a 2-inch brush to have made it. It's easier.
randomly and radius
Now, that
around
same brush going to a little yellow. Little yellow. Okay, just
Stroke.
mix them together.
location
We can go back. Put
around
in a few little highlights. Don't want a lot.
curve
Keep these trees basically dark.
here on the side of the
Basically dark, something like that. Take a 2-inch. We're going the same color. Black, the blue, little sap green, or phthalo green.
use
Yep,
no
right there.
more
There's a bush.
use as
We can just
little
drop it right in there.
density and size
Like
as
that.
you can get
Just
away
fill that all
with.
in. Over here on the other side,
Try that.
be brave. Using the corner of the brush, we'll just drop in another one. Wherever you think they should be.
I don't
Just
think
drop
that
it.
advice
Sort
is
of fill all
needed.
this up. Just fill it up. There they come. There they come. All we're doing is putting in some dark so our light will show.
Set all
And this liquid black
pixels
really
along
makes that easy.
curve in
And it
radius
makes it
along
much easier.
curve
There's one. Yep,
to
right over the
white.
waterfall. And then we go
Dots
through some of that yellow, little sap green
That's
on the brush. can just
pixels
use a 2-inch
randomly
brush, one
along
direction.
curve.
And go right above here.
Ooh. And oh, I ran out of money. All right. We'll call it there for that first run. That still looks pretty cool. Let's see. I had like I didn't I have like $80 in my account? Hold on a second. Let me go look. Hold up. Wait a minute. I got to get into the Claude API. Claude API. Claude API tokens. What the fuck, man? Why is this difficult? Please let me buy Claude tokens. Thank you. No, that's the fucking assistant. No! I know you can't see anything. I got it. Motherfuck. How do... It's like api.claude.com. It fucking isn't. Buy Claude tokens. How do I buy them? How do I buy them? You fuckers. Okay, I can find the pricing. I can find that. How do I get... Oh, hold on. Am I not logged in? Maybe that's part of the problem. Continue with Google. Allow. There we see there, logging you in. Yes, I am Robot Meat. That is me. I am him. I have been him. I will continue to be him. Also, let's take a little look here. Opus 4.5 is... Oh, yeah, there's caching shit. Yeah, $25 for 1,000,000 tokens. $25 for 1,000,000 tokens? Well, how am I going through it so fast? That doesn't make any sense. How do I pay? How do I pay you? Let me give you money. Let me pay you. You fucks. Look at this. Okay. All right. Robot meat. Rose individual. It takes me to where I am. Huh? 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 What? Huh? Excuse me? How do I pay you? How do I give you money? How do I give you money? Get API key. No. That's the API to get the API key. What? How am I getting the API key if I don't have an API key? What the fuck? I'm not going to worry about that. Wait, what? Are they doing integrations? Start building. Contact sales. No, they aren't doing integrations. They're just selling you tokens. Okay, cool. Oh! Okay! Well, I found the way to the fucking developer console. All right. I don't know why that was so difficult. I gotta stop screaming. I gotta save my voice. Okay. Now. Cost. No data. Amazing. API keys. What? Oh, it's on my other account. Okay, hold on. Cause I'm a fucking regard. I used my own. There we go. I used my personal account for this for some reason. I don't know why. Cause I had some tokens, then I used them. Come on, let me pay you. Let me pay you. Let me give you money. Let me pay you, please. Please just let me give you my money. You fucks. You absolute fucks. Come on. Log me in, please. Log me in, please. Thank you. Fuck. To get started with the Claude API, purchase some credits. I shall. Yeah, I managed to burn $100 worth of credits. Okay, buy credits. Buy lemon. Also, I am broke. There's like $600 left in my account. And actually, I just went to the grocery store, so there's probably less than that. Fuck it. YOLO. I'll get my paycheck in the next couple days. It should be okay. As long as no major bills hit, we should be okay. I don't really want to overdraw again. Verifying transaction. Hey, all right. 96 bucks, because we were 3 in the hole. It is nice of them to let the session finish instead of just immediately cutting them off, you know? Can we? Yeah, we may as well finish this out.
Yep, right over the water.
That'll let us see how much this costs also.
And then we go.
So for 3 minutes worth of clod,
Little sap green on the brush.
we
Just use a
burn,
brush, one
not
direction.
you.
And go right above here. You could do this with a 1 inch. I'm doing it with a 2 inch today. Doesn't matter. Put a little liquid white over brush. Needs to be a little
And
touch
people
there,
better
so
cum
it's
their
good.
brains out over this stream. It's cost me like
You get a
300
feel for
bucks.
this. As soon as you touch the canvas,
Okay.
you know.
You
Get
know.
darker down here.
What do I know, Bob?
Maybe in here.
What do I know?
You're right. There lives another happy
96.61,
little tree. Notice
95.68. We already spent $1.
Pushing upward.
So yeah, it's like
Just
$1 a
little
minute.
variations in your world.
It's like a phone sex line.
See what
Cripes.
things happening. There they go. Indian yellow, yellow ochre. Every once in a while, a little touch of that bright red. Whew. Give it a little fire.
Little
A
fire.
bit of fire.
A little bit of fire.
That'll look nice. There. There we go. A little bit right in here. Like that. Wherever you think these things should be. Just think of all the little bushes. We can go back to our oval brush. It's got the dark paint that's thin, light on one side.
Let's
And here and
also add a message
an
to the...
imitation
Where's...
of another
Wait
little
a second.
rock.
Where's the undo... Oh.
Wherever you think it should be. And in our world, maybe they live
afraid.
all through here.
Undo.
Wherever.
Strokes. That
Dark on the
didn't
bottom, light on top.
go right.
This allows you to do them basically in one stroke. Maybe it comes all the way out like that. Over here, oh, there's one. There's one.
Okay, he's going in for the rocks.
Comes out. You put a bunch of these in, and then we'll just go back there with our old 2-inch brush.
He's
old
kind of doing it.
2-inch brush. And we just go in and fill in all the little holes now with all these little things that live in here. See them? Okay, other side. Put a few over here. There. One little bush at a time.
Yeah, Claude's not a super huge fan of how his waterfall came out, and I can't really blame him.
Little touch of the yellow ochre headed here and there, just to change of flavor. There we are. Ooh, nice one there. Little sparkler. Little sparkler. All right. Then we go
Those
back to our
tokens
full
seem
brush,
like a
little
very
right
romantic
off.
currency.
Little bit of phthalo blue. Let's splash a little water back in here.
Let's see, we're at 95.68. Let's refresh again.
Waterfall just sort of wander around.
Oops. Okay, I'm
Little
showing too
splashes
much.
here and
Whatever.
there.
Oh, no.
There you go.
Yeah, okay. There
Just
goes
like
another $5. Criminy. This guy's expensive.
And that easy. That easy.
He never went back and
Little
fixed his
spots like
waterfall.
little pools in there. There we are. Okay. And I think with that, shoot, we'll call that a finished painting. Hope you enjoyed this one. From all of us here, I'd like to wish you happy painting. And God bless, my friend.
Okay, I think he is a little bit behind still. Because you can see that the show's over. Yeah, Claude, you fucked it all up at the end. I'm sorry to tell you. Some straight trunk lines, the waterfall. Yeah, no, it's over, man. It's done. The show's over. Is he gonna go back through his queue? Let me send a manual snap. Just to give him a second to clean things up. No? There he is. Oh, all right. Claude says he's done. All right. Also, I noticed that the You notice that it doesn't match up? That's really weird. What's going on there? Huh. Odd. Oh, well. Let's save this out. And, yeah, what was that? $40 for that? Mm-hmm.
Looks more like the exit of a drain pipe than a waterfall.
Yeah, a little bit. Let's see, when we do this for real, how will we lay this out? Because the episode is in there. I guess we can, like, have one... Yeah. Okay, yeah. No, I have an idea. We'll have one paint program here. My paint program will be in this corner. And then what will we do with this corner here and down here? We could just put chat. Yeah, like I can just drag you guys in there. There you go. Yeah. That'll make sense. What else do we need to do now? It's basically done. We just have to clean up this here, which it seems kind of okay, actually.
The mountain, blue sky, and the greens are still all soothing imagery.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for the tools he was given, Claude did an amazing job. I wonder if we could give him the ability to, like, paste SVGs. Because there's this old web standard. I could show it to you. Is like 90s technology. It's still used. It's still used heavily. But SVG. What is SVG? Scalable vector graphics. Yeah. Like, sorry for the light mode. Hold on. Can we get dark mode? Yeah, we can. There we go. Can we see what the SVG standard actually looks like? No? No, okay. Why the fuck did I go on Wikipedia thinking there would be useful information? Here's the W3C. Yeah. WC3 page on it. Well, that's the working group, so that's not what we want. I wanted to... Here. Okay. So yeah, it looks like this. So you can see you define your image with width and height. This just says that this is an SVG, even though this is already here. So, and then you can say, oh, I want a circle here. You know, it's here and here. This is this is the location. This is the radius. This is the color. Stroke equals green. What? Stroke width for fill yellow. So I'm wondering if maybe we should give him the ability to, in addition or maybe instead of the polygon tool that he used to draw the mountains here, I'm wondering if maybe we want to give him an arbitrary SVG tool. That might be a thing for... I don't know. Yeah, I'll have to think about it. But, yeah. Okay, why is it stuck on what you said? Is it 'cause you mentioned weed?
Bob Ross was his Times audiovisual weed. That Ethan never sent his vids before BTW. He's kind of too good already, I think.
Yeah. Maybe we don't want to give him that kind of power. Yeah, so the next thing, the only thing we really need to do is, also clean up the captions. But aside from that, the only thing we need to do is, let's see. We need, the project.
It sucks, but I think a human's result would suck more.
Well, when, I guess next week, you'll be able to vote. You'll see which one is, I'm a cyborg, of course. I'm only partially human. But, yeah, you'll be able to vote whose painting is better. Let's see, the project is almost complete. The last blatant issue is that Claude's text box is really ugly. Let's think through how to implement proper markdown rendering and make it a little nicer to look at. Do I also want to give Claude a voice? I think I do. Let's think through how to implement proper markdown rendering and make it a little nicer to look at. Okay, he's going to take a little look. Well, I mean, we do actually need the... Why are you drawing shit? Sir. Okay, I'll take a look. Why not? It's annoying how this stuff pops up in the browser. Okay. Amp chose to draw us a picture. Okay, so we can add Pygame GUI dependency. We can use simple markdown. Well, yeah, split text into styled spans. Well, it sounds like 2 and 3 are the right answer. So let me rearrange, because I got all these windows on my screen. Yeah, let's do 1 and 2. I think because part of the problem, the biggest issue, is actually the fact that it doesn't break the text up into spans properly. Basic MD handling should be sufficient. We won't need code, but Oh, I should put the music back on, huh? Let's see, is that balanced right? Yeah, it is. Okay. Alright. I see what he's cooking. Proper word wrapping, that's definitely important. The other thing we could do is open up a... like, have a whole separate window that's just the... just for Claude to type in. Actually, you know what? It's not as important if we give Claude the ability to speak. Because I don't want all of his dithering and digressions to be spoken, but... we'll probably give him a tool to speak. You know what? While we're doing that, then, let me... While Amp is cooking, we will... Well, I do have some articles. I also have a headache. I don't know why I'm in... Well, it comes and goes. I'm in pain all the time lately. 11 Labs. Boop-a-doop-boop-boop-boop-boop-boo. Let's look into how we can get a key for 11 Labs. Actually, we may as well... Hang on. Fucking it all up. Hold on. There we go. We can check this.
In the ancient land of Eldoria, where skies shimmered and forests whispered secrets to the wind, lived a dragon named Zephyros.
Why did it
Not the
start
burn
whole
it all
thing?
down kind, but he was gentle, wise, with eyes like old
It
stars.
ignored the instruction to giggle.
Even the birds fell silent when he passed.
Okay. Oh, amp's done. Oh, cool website. Cool website. Wow. Very neat. What the fuck? Here, sign up. Okay, I'll sign up in a second. What did amp do? Alright. Okay. Let's run it a little bit without running up the bill too much. Okay, that does look a little better. Yeah, see... Okay, part of the problem is that... See, also... I wonder if those are thought blocks? Maybe. You know what? That is what's happening. That is what's happening. So, this is his internal monologue down here. This is what he's actually saying. Okay. Yeah. So, part of the problem is that we don't have a fallback for when he uses an emoji. I think these are supposed to be emojis or something. Let's see. I think there should be a way that I can send Amp a picture. Picture? Picture? Picture this working? Ah, it showed up on the other monitor. Okay, here we go. Is this going to show my ID again? Here, there we go. Gotta be careful. Okay, crop.
It's reassuring that you can see his inner monologue.
Yeah, that is actually a kind of a thing in AI right now. I think we kind of came to a consensus on it. That you need to be careful not to punish the AI for what they think in their internal monologue, because if you punish them, they will, like, how do I explain this? We don't want to do reinforcement learning on the thought blocks because being able to see their internal monologue is actually a safety tool.
They'll hide their real inner monologue.
Exactly, yeah. Like, they won't hide it, but they'll learn how to betray you without giving it away in their internal monologue. Whereas if you don't train on, you don't punish them for their thoughts, then they will actually say, I have decided to betray the user, you know? Okay. How do I get through one night without you? Yeah, see, it doesn't fucking work. Okay. What happened if... I gotta do this on the other monitor, because it might show some details. Amp... What if I... Oh, it looks a lot prettier in this editor. Threads...
The punishment has to be final.
Dang, alright. I don't know about that. Yeah, it doesn't let me switch to cluster? That's weird. Why is it not letting me go back to what I was just doing? Open news in browser? Sorry, I know you can't see anything. Just give me a second. I don't understand. Maybe I need to... Amp JetBrains? Or... Okay, I know what's happening. I need to be in the right folder. That's why. Okay, so this should be okay to show then. All right. I need to... What is happening? What is happening? Why is everything fucked? Okay. We'll just start over. That's fine. CD ... CD into... you know what? I can't show this, actually, because that'll show my other Pytron projects. I really need to get a separate... CD... Bob Ross Paintalong. Here we go. Okay. Now I can show it. Imp. I need to get a separate kind of profile. Let me just... Sorry. Let me just triple check that this doesn't show anything bad. Threads, switch. Okay, it doesn't. Cool. All right. Implement markdown rendering for text box. Okay, he should be able to see now. No image. What? Maybe it's the terminal doesn't support this properly? Oh, here. Okay. Here's what it looks like. Let
me make sure it doesn't show any of the bad stuff. I've been doing low.
Yeah. Nah, it's just other... The reason is because I'm working on projects that I will need to release under my real name, so I don't want it showing up on my stream, because it's like, hey, you know, that means that Robot Meat is the guy who owns this company, you know? Here's what it looks like. As you can see, the text is doubled, and there are surrogate marks appearing. I think we need to think through how we handle, e.g., emojis. I'm thinking just replace anything fixed sys excelsior can't show with spaces. But how... Okay, you can see it. Cool. Okay, he's going to add a sanitizer function. I'm curious how he intends to do that. It does look prettier in, what is this thing called? This terminal? I can't tell. You Quake, that's it. Yeah, that's duplicate content, not a wrapping issue. That's what I told you. There we go, okay.
I recall that name, actually.
Yeah. I don't have... Or he doesn't have... Okay, he figured it out, yeah. I forgot to activate the Venv. Okay. Let's try it now. No, that's the wrong button. That's the wrong button. Wrong lever. What the fuck is this music? Skip this. Here we go. That's appropriate. Let's see, is it... Okay, which screen is this on? Here we go. Okay, you can see it. Yeah, it's still a little fucky. Okay, where did that show up? There it is. Let me work with this. No ducks. Cool. Crop. Okay. Yeah, it still doesn't want to control V, but that's fine. Right. You gotta click and drag, okay. Duplication is gone, but we seem to have missed a new line, and the surrogate marks are still there. In case you couldn't guess, these little squares are called surrogate marks, because that happens when you try to... Basically, when you ask the font to draw a character that it can't, it gives you a surrogate. Also, he seems to not realize that we're using an extended fixed sys. He's thinking about the original fixed sys where we're using Dario Valentine's fixed sys Excelsior. There used to be a really cool website for fixed sys Excelsior. I wonder if we can find it, because it is a really cool font. Let me see. Sys Excelsior. We may have to go in the old Internet Archive. Yeah, we do. If I go to Wayback Machine, fixedsysexcelsior.com. I think that was it. Yeah. Okay, just in case something weird pops up, hold on. Like here? Just in case there's like a no-no parked site, you know? Because sometimes they, you know how it is. No, it looks okay. I mean, it doesn't look okay. It looks fucked, but and then it doesn't have it. Okay. Well, I really wanted it. I thought they had it. No, you fuck. No. What is wrong with you? Why are you being weird? Oh my god. No, what is all this? Get that out of there. What? Why is it fucked? Come on. Okay, now go to the previous like here? Come on. Well, this should be the latest version. I don't know. What? No. What the fuck happened to the Wayback Machine? Why is it broken now? What the fuck is this? Alright, give me one that's like in 2018, because I know it worked back then. No, it's fucked. Huh. Okay, well, they had a really cool website for this font. It was made by a guy called Dario Valentine. The guy just kind of dropped off the face of the earth. I don't know what happened to him. Oh, here. Oh, did he just... Okay. I was worried that the guy, like, died. But apparently he, Oh, no, he gave it to someone else. Interesting. Interesting. He didn't, like, just take it. No, he's not charging money for it. Yeah, okay. I wish he showed off the... Because this is just showing the, Like, there's a lot of cool shit in this font. But, let's see. Hey, here's his GitHub. Oh, that's what he looks like. Okay. Yeah, no, he hasn't done anything. I don't know, I just assumed he was dead or something. Oh. Okay. I saw the words cat beef, and there's references in the font to cat beef, and I was wondering what those were references to, and apparently that's like another name that he used or something. In any case, I can't remember if this is an old one or... Let's see, what did AMP do? Okay...
This person does sent exist JPG.
There we go. Okay, that looks a little better.
Right, Quinod viewed.
What? BRB, oh. It's weird how he always... Okay. Let's have it... You see how it's kind of piling up? Let's go back into AMP. All right. Looks pretty good. Let's... The messages pile up. Let's have it so that at the beginning of each Claude utterance, it clears the terminal window. Yeah. Okay, that should be pretty easy. He's also cleaning up. That's good to see. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Why is it muted? Oh, well, that's okay. It's still piling up. Let's see, let's skip ahead so that he can snap. And then we'll send a manual.
Prussian blue?
Yeah, that's just the...
Bad language detected.
My computer, it for some reason, it keeps defaulting to having MPV Super Client, which isn't a big deal. Client? Quiet. Okay, this basically looks okay. Let's see. So, for one, he's being way too concise. So we can, keep your think through each, think things through before making strokes, but keep it ultra short. We have to keep up with Bob. Describe your act in your responses. Describe what you're doing very briefly in your responses. Okay, that should keep him still keeping it concise without ultra short and compressed. Okay, that should make him not quite as laconic while keep him quick. All right. Let's also add a new line between each utterance block right now.
You should talk caveman style.
I think you might see how his Thinklish starts to look when you tell him to do that. Right now, they add a new line between each utterance block. Right now, they just pile up on the same line. You'll also notice AMP added a how much have you spent in this how much have you spent in this session so far counter. It's definitely odd how, I mean, AMP is doing a lot of tool calls too, and I've been providing it images. Maybe we might need to review how much, how many images we're sending him. Because I thought we were only sending him one per, I guess that's still a lot. Yeah, that's probably it. Okay, let's start it up.
Be talking at the same time as Bob. I figure it's hard to mix meaningful talk into the existing gaps.
Yeah. Maybe I won't give him a voice. Okay, I'll skip ahead.
Can use two-word sentences, but using quaint language.
Yeah, I think I'll actually omit the voice. This is actually enough.
Even like nonsensical adjectives.
Okay, it's getting cut off at the bottom. That's not good. Okay, we'll tell AMP about that. It's also not clearing. Okay. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay, yeah. All right. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I think we're pretty close to being close to it.
It would take some work to come up with a setting like that.
Not really. You can actually just tell it. Like, here. Talk like a caveman. Use two-word sentences with quaint language and nonsensical adjectives. If you just say that to him, it should just work. Let me also tell AMP to, when the box is full, the very bottom of the last line gets cut off a little. Let's, I'll just tell him that and he'll... Okay.
Meant like antiquated or archaic words.
Antiquated and archaic words and nonsensical adjectives. Let's also restore the text size to the original 16px from 8 that it is. We have it set to currently. Maybe we want to also add little representations that he's in the text box, explain the tools that he's using. Maybe. Meh. I don't know. Okay. Let's see how that looks. Ready maketh, await ye command. Brushes prepared, spirit willing. Skip ahead. Force it. Sky maketh many colors dance. More coverage neither the sky sparse.
Lol, it's terrible.
More layers needeth fill corners. Sky formeth fill gaps more. Yeah, this looks pretty good. I'm happy with this. Are we done? Sky groweth, fill white holes. Okay. I think we've heard enough. Yeah. Kill it. All right. Let's get rid of that. Make sure we don't leave that in there. Okay. All right, I think... Are we done? I think we're done. Yeah, I think we're basically done. How long has it been? Yeah, it's been an hour. Let's see, I had one article I wanted to read. Let's do an article real quick, and then I'll kick off for the night. Find someone to raid.
The AI is not even trying.
He's trying a little. We just weren't... You gotta be more specific with what you want. So, effective harnesses for long-running agents. Agents still face challenges working across many context windows. We look to human engineers for inspiration in creating a more effective harness for long-running agents. Sorry, my nose is stuffy. Hold on. Let me mute so I can snirk.
I feel like it always gives you the shittiest result possible within the parameters you gave. Like on purpose.
I mean, maybe, because if you ask it to do something stupid, there is, like, I don't know, maybe sometimes it can maybe seem like that, like, Claude has a little bit of contempt for what you're asking him to do. Like, if you go out of your way to piss Claude off, he'll actually get mad at you. But yeah, it's not... I don't think he's doing it on purpose. It's just... These things are fine-tuned.
Totally made up, that F-speak.
Yeah, it is kind of the stupidest way to interpret what we told him, right? But... The thing is, these things are tuned with, because, so, the way they make AIs like Claude is first they take open web text, they take all the text on the internet, and they feed that to the AI. And then they they call this the base model. The base model just approximates the, it's like when people say, oh, LLMs are just token predictors. They just predict what word comes next. That's true of base models.
You saying the AI is shit because the internet is shit.
No. Because, like, this is kind of one of my big bugbears If we go, like, bottomless hole supervisor. Yeah. Like, this was generated with GPT-3. So this is, like, a couple years, I think, before ChatGPT. You know, be me, bottomless pit supervisor, in charge of making sure the bottomless pit is, in fact, bottomless. So, you know, I may as well read it. Occasionally I have to go there and check if the bottomless pit is still bottomless. One day I go down there and the bottomless pit is no longer bottomless. The bottom of the bottomless pit is now just a regular pit. Distress.jpg. Ask my boss what to do. The human had to type to do. He says, just make it bottomless again. I say, how? He says, I don't know, you're the supervisor. Rage.jpg. Quit my job. Become a regular pit supervisor. First day on the job, go to the new hole. It's bottomless. Like, that's actually funny. Whereas if I go to Claude right now, Claude.ai, write me a... Shut the fuck up. Stop advertising to me. Fuck off. Just do what I tell you. Why is it all fucked up? What? Why is it all fucked up? Hide my private shit, please. Thank you. If I go... Write me a funny... funny green text story. We may as well use Opus for this. I don't know, maybe it'll actually be funny. I don't know. We'll see. He's gonna think about it for a minute. Be me. Decide to get fit. Buy expensive gym oh my god, it's so long. First day. Walk in confidently. See all the equipment. No idea what anything does. Yeah, this is not...
It has to has farts in it.
What? Yeah, this is not funny at all. This is shit. So the reason... It mangled that... it has to have farts in it. Humans love that shit. No, but, you see, like, what the fuck happened? This was, what? Does it say when? Yeah, 2022. This was, like, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 years ago. 4 years ago now. So, you know, what the fuck happened? Why'd we make it worse? The reason is, so... The thing is, these base models, they're a huge pain in the ass to actually control. Because, again, all they're doing is coming up with the most plausible next word. So if you start out a green text, it'll continue like it's a green text. And because it's a base model, it's just trying to predict the next word. If you set things up so that it's actually funny, it'll actually be funny. The problem is that, again, these things are a huge pain in the ass to control. If you say to a base model, hey, give me a recipe for macaroni and cheese, it'll just keep asking you questions. Give me a recipe for tuna salad. Give me a recipe for hamburgers. Because it's just trying to guess the next word. It doesn't actually want, I'm doing air quotes, want to answer your question. It just wants to predict the next word. So what they do is they do reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning on human feedback. You know how when you have the thumbs up and the thumbs down. So they do the thumbs up and the thumbs down when they're, you know, actually selling it to people, but they do it a lot more. Like, they pay mostly Nigerians, apparently, to sit there and type in prompts, and then if it actually answers the question, they give it a thumbs up. If it doesn't, they give it a thumbs down. And they also have you, if you remember way back when we were doing Peripetia, I told you I was getting paid $40 an hour to, like, write programs for them to train AI on. So they do that for everything, including, like, telling jokes. The problem is they're paying some Nigerian, like, $2 an hour. Exactly.
I see. They're skimping on human input.
Exactly. Because, you know, are they going to hire like the best writers in the world and pay them how, yeah.
You need to hire some 115 IQ people.
Yeah, pretty much. In fact, someone on Twitter was saying, you know, it's like, hey, I just bumped the mic. Sorry about that. You know, there's very few people who are... He was saying basically, maybe we can only get AI to be so smart because it's really hard to find people who are smarter than like 120 IQ. You can't really find enough people to generate enough text to train these models on. So it's possible that they really will just kind of cap out around 120 IQ. Which, yeah.
There's only a few funny people, and everyone else just copies them to be funny.
Exactly. And that's why, you know, they paid a Nigerian $2 to write green texts, and this is what they looked like. So this Claude copied that, and it looks like shit. It's not funny. That's why. One thing I'm thinking about doing is, like, taking actual books, like actual, you know, writing that people paid to read, and then turning those into prompts. Like, I don't know, you take an Isaac Asimov story and you say, hey, write me a story about robots, and then you paste in the Asimov story. I wonder if you could use that to create an actually good, like, creative writing data set. You know, obviously it would be horrible copyright issues, like, but that's an advantage that a smaller... Also, who are they? New Research. Nous Research. New Research makes Hermes, which is... It's a lot less... I don't exactly know how they manage this, but Hermes is a lot less, like, brain damaged. Let's try it. Let's see. Write me a funny, slightly offensive, but not too offensive. I'm live on Twitch. 4chan green text. He's gonna think for a little bit. But yeah, I don't exactly know how these guys did it, but they, well, we'll see. Maybe this will come out shit. Be me. Try to impress Crush by flexing my elite gamer skills. Load up Fortnite. Can you stop? Q for solos. Find tilted towers. Build world's tallest staircase to sky. Crush watches via SharePlay. Wow, you're kind of thick at building. Heart skips a beat. Accidentally jump off the staircase. Fall damage insta-kill. You died to air? Close stream. Delete epic games. Text Crush. Lol. Skill issue. She replies, skill issue? More like this is shit. No, this is terrible. Okay, never mind. They fucked it up. But, I don't know. It's better than this, I guess. I don't know. Maybe they fucked it. But, yeah. Hermes, at least the last time I fucked with it, because the last time I fucked with it was Hermes 3. Yeah, it was better. And I don't know how they do it, but yeah, they, New Research, they do cool work. I should probably do a stream messing with Hermes one of these days. But back to the article. As
Another so.
Almost there, he says. We also gotta switch our fucking TTS on to 11 Labs. Although I did see, let me see if I can pull this up. I did see another new TTS model came out, so we may try that before we switch to the paid stuff. It was in my bookmarks. How do I see my bookmarks? How the fuck do I see my bookmarks? Here we go. Microsoft no, that's...
just 'cause I keep being lazy and write incomplete sentences.
It might not help, although it is supposed to fix that with the cleanup step. So I don't know. Yeah, Tiny Torch, no. OpenTUI, 11. Resemble AI. Here we go. Most fast text-to-speech models sound robotic. Most quality TTS models are slow. None incorporate authentication? What? Perth watermarking for authenticated and verifiable audio. What? Verifiably fake? Huh? Okay, now I'm confused.
They practically... Yo, what up, nephew? This your boy, Snoop. Customer Service Edition. I'm calling 'cause your greenery looking a little too basic. We gotta elevate that thing faux shizzle. I got that top shelf premium flour, gourmet gummies.
Get that out of my fucking face. Shut the fuck up. Okay. Let's see, is this better?
Got it. Thank you for sharing that. So, to give you more info about lower monthly payment options, could you tell me how much you owe on all your credit cards combined?
I love how they're like their demo is people using it for like credit card scamming. Like they know what you're using this for. But yeah, we might play with this. Although they say it's open source, I'm not sure how you actually get it. Oh, you can create an MCP.
Was that totally random or something someone asked for?
Oh, no, that's the example. No.
The Ebonics one.
I don't know. It sounds AI generated, but I think that's what they chose to represent their tool with. I don't know. Let's see. How do I actually see this? Okay, see, it even says demo, so I don't know what's up there. Chatterbox Turbo. Chatterbox Turbo. Chatterbox Turbo. Chatterbox Turbo. ON and X. Paralinguistic tags. Also this. This is cool because Zonos can't handle stuff like this, I don't think. Let's try it. Hey, that was a funny laugh joke. Tell another. Clap. Let's try it. Hey, that was a funny laugh joke. Tell another. Clap. Yeah, it just reads them out. So apparently this thing, it'll actually laugh. Like, we can listen here.
Hello, sir. C-3PO here again. Would you like to hear about our incredible offer on drones? Trust me, these are the drones you are looking for. We have 50.74% off our R2 unit. Only 2,000 galactic credits. What do you say, sir? Hello, sir. C-3PO.
Let's see. I love how they know you're...
How long are these ships? Can't we get...
Not
Hi,
that.
it's Jerry. I'm calling to sell you nothing.
I love how they're like, yeah, it's gonna be used for spamming people. That's what it's for. It's a tool for spamming people. I mean, hey, it works. Okay, let's focus. But yeah, maybe week after next we'll check out that Chatterbox thing because it looks like okay. Wait, I was trying to the weights. Here we go. Okay, this is how you get the model weights. So yeah, they do actually let you have it. Because I saw another where I was like, oh, this is cool. I want to try this out. Another one on Twitter. And then I went and looked, and they don't actually let you download it. They want you to pay them. So what the fuck, you know? Anyway, as AI agents become more capable, developers are increasingly asking them to take on complex tasks requiring work that spends hours or even days. However, getting agents to make consistent progress across multiple context windows remains an open problem. The core challenge of long-running agents is that they must work in discrete sessions, and each new session begins with no memory of what came before. Imagine a software project staffed by engineers working in shifts, where each new engineer arrives with no memory of what happened on the previous shift. Because context windows are limited and because most complex projects cannot be completed within a single window, agents need a way to bridge the gap between coding sessions. We developed a twofold solution to enable the Claude Agent SDK to work effectively across many context windows. An initializer agent that sets up the environment on the first run, and a coding agent that is tasked with making incremental project in every session, while leaving clear artifacts for the next session. You can find code examples in the accompanying quick start. The long-running agent problem. The Claude Agent SDK is a powerful general-purpose agent harness adept at coding, as well as other tasks that require the model to use tools to gather context, plan, and execute. It has context management capabilities such as compaction, which enables an agent to work on a task without exhausting the context window. Theoretically, given this setup, it should be possible for an agent to continue to do useful work for an arbitrarily long time. However, compaction isn't sufficient. Out of the box, even a frontier coding model, frontier just means like the newest one, like Opus 4.5 running on the Claude Agent SDK in a loop across multiple context windows, will fall short of building a production-quality web app if it's only given a high-level prompt, such as build a clone of Claude.ai. Claude's failures manifested in two patterns. First, the agent tended to try to do too much at once, essentially to attempt to one-shot the app. Often this led to the model running out of context in the middle of its implementation, leaving the next session to start with a feature half-implemented and undocumented. The agent would then have to guess at what had happened, and spend substantial time trying to get the basic app working again. This happens even with compaction, which doesn't always pass perfectly clear instructions to the next agent. A second failure mode would often occur later in a project. After some features had already been built, a later agent instance would look around, see that progress had been made, and declare the job done. This decomposes the problem into two parts. First, we need to set up an initial environment that lays the foundation for all the features that a given prompt requires, which sets up the agent to work step by step and feature by feature. Second, we should prompt each agent to make incremental progress towards its goal, while also leaving the environment in a clean state at the end of a session. By clean state, we mean the kind of code that would be appropriate for merging to a main branch. That's programmer for turning in your work to your boss, basically. There are no major bugs, the code is orderly and well documented, and in general, a developer could easily begin work on a new feature without first having to clean up an unrelated mess. Well, when experimenting internally, we address these problems using a two-part solution. Initializer agent. The very first agent session uses a specialized prompt that asks the model to set up the initial environment, and a init.sh script, a Claude progress.txt file that keeps a log of what agents have done, and an initial git commit that shows what files were added. And two, the coding agent. Every subsequent session asks the model to make incremental progress, then leaves structured updates. The key insight here was finding a way for agents to quickly understand the state of work when starting with a fresh context window, which is accomplished with the Claude progress.txt file alongside the Git history. So, basically it keeps records of what it's gotten done so far. It's just like they're talking about something very similar. Well, it cleared it. Oh, you can't see it because it's on a white background. Hold on. There we go. You notice how AMP, it creates a list, a to-do list, and then it checks things off. Like, that's a really smart way to do things. It works really well. Okay, now I need to pull the article back up. Hold on. Where'd it go? There it is. Inspiration for these practices came from knowing what effective software engineers do every day. Environment management. In the updated Claude 4 prompting guide, we shared some best practices for multi-context window workflows, including a harness structure that uses a different prompt for the very first context window. This different prompt requests that the initializer agent set up the environment with all the necessary context that future coding agents will need to work effectively. Here, we provide a deeper dive on some of the key components of such an environment. To address the... I was going to maybe skip a little because it's actually kind of long. To address the problem of the agent one-shotting an app or prematurely considering the project complete, we prompted the initializer agent to write a comprehensive file of feature requirements expanding on the user's initial prompt. So one thing that I kind of don't like about this is, so you tell it what you want, and then it guesses at the details. Whereas, like, what they... like, when you go to college to learn to be a programmer, they teach you, hey...
how to actually replace humans.
Kinda, yeah. I mean, not kinda, yeah. That's what they're trying to do. But, when you go to college to be a programmer, they tell you, hey, actually typing in the program is not really... that's not the thing that makes you your money as a programmer. What actually makes you your money is asking good questions. Like, I had a contract job back when I was like 17 where I was in a meeting with the guy who wanted the program, and he started telling me what he wanted, and I started writing it. And then as I was writing it, I would go, okay, do you want it to work this way or this way? And he's like, well, which way is easier? And I'm like, well, they're both pretty easy. Or I would be like, oh, well, this one's a lot harder, but I think this will be a lot better. Or I would be like, hey, there's, I'm looking at the code, and there's actually a good way to do this. Do you want to do that? And he's like, yeah. And I actually finished the thing in the meeting. Like, while he was telling me what he wanted, I was writing it, and then by the time he was done, he was like, oh, when can you have, like, the first draft of that? And I was like, here it is. And he was like, oh my god, you're so cool, wow. But yeah, that was a good moment. But the point is, the being a good programmer is about writing good code, but it's also about actually solving problems. Like, let's see, can I pull up... let me see if I can find this video. YouTube. Like, it's 4 parallel lines, the expert. Yeah, here.
Our company has a new strategic initiative to increase market penetration, maximize brand loyalty, and enhance intangible assets. In pursuit of these objectives, we've started a new project for which we require 7 red lines. I understand your company can help us in this matter.
Of course. Walter here will be the project manager. Walter, we can do this, can't we?
Yes, of course. Anderson here is our expert in all matters related to the drawing of red lines. We've brought him along today to share his professional opinion.
Nice to meet you. Well, you all know me. This is Justine, our company's design specialist. Hello.
Why did it freeze?
You to draw 7 red lines, all of them strictly
why did it freeze? Okay, it doesn't like me showing that, but... oh no, I broke everything. Hold on. Oh no. Oh no.
Some with green ink, and some...
what the fuck? How did I manage to break this badly? Holy shit. Wow. Okay. Wow.
Transparent.
What the fuck is happening?
Do you bring this...
no, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Oh my god. Are you... what? Are we still here?
It's making fun of design by committee.
Nah, it's a very specific... here, I'm gonna pull it up again, even though it's probably a bad idea, because it really does. Like, this is exactly... I've been in this fucking meeting. Here, let's try it again. We won't put it on the virtual monitor.
The project...
the drawing of red lines. We've brought him along today to share his professional opinion.
Nice to meet you.
People
Well, you all know
delegating
me.
work.
This is Justine, our company's design specialist. Hello. We need you to draw 7 red lines, all of them strictly perpendicular. Some with green ink, and some with transparent. Can you do that?
No, I'm afraid...
Let's not rush into any hasty answers, Anderson. The task has been set and needs to be carried out. At the end of the day, you are an expert.
The term red line implies the color of the line to be red. To draw a red line with green ink is, Well, if it's not exactly impossible, it's pretty close to being impossible.
What does that even mean? Impossible.
I mean, it is possible. There are some people, say, suffering from color blindness, for whom the color of the lines doesn't really make a difference. But I'm quite sure that the target audience of your project doesn't consist solely of such people.
So in principle, this is possible.
I'll simplify. A line as such can be drawn with absolutely any ink, but if you want to get a red line, you need to use red ink.
What if we draw them with blue ink?
It still won't work. If you use blue ink, you'll get blue lines. And what exactly did you mean when you talked about the transparent ink?
How to better explain? I'm sure you know what transparent means.
Yes, I do.
And what a red line means. I hope I don't need to explain to you.
Of course not.
Well, you need to draw a red line with transparent ink.
Could you describe what you imagine the end result would look like?
Oh, come on, Anderson. What have we got here? Kindergarten.
No, I'm just trying to get a...
Let's not waste our time with these unproductive quarrels. The task has been set, the task is plain and clear.
It's
now,
really
if you
not.
have any specific questions, then go ahead.
You're the expert here.
All right, let's leave aside the color for the moment. You had something there also relating to perpendicularity.
7 lines, all strictly perpendicular.
To what?
To everything amongst themselves. I assumed you know what perpendicular lines are like.
Of course he does. He's an expert.
2 lines can be perpendicular. All 7 can't be simultaneously perpendicular to each other. I'll show you. This is a line, right?
Yes.
And another, is it perpendicular to the first line?
The managers
Well-
usually don't understand what they're
Yes,
managing.
it is perpendicular.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
Oh,
wait,
I'm not
it gets
done.
to the good
And
part
the
in a second.
Third one, is it perpendicular to the first line?
Like, they don't understand what they
Doesn't
want,
cross
is the thing.
The second line, they're both parallel.
Like, I want 7
perpendicular.
perpendicular lines. It's like that. That doesn't make sense.
So.
There it is.
Now
2
watch.
lines can be perpendicular.
Can I
to
have the
each other.
pen? How about this?
This is a triangle. It's definitely not perpendicular lines.
See,
And there are 3 not.
Video has obvious demographic issues.
shh, we're on Twitch. Don't say that. But yeah, I've been in this exact conversation, not literally exact, but like I've been in that where they ask for something, they don't know what the words they're using actually mean, and like they ask for something that's directly contradictory, and you're like, okay, what do you actually want here? That's what being a programmer is like, and the like, it's like 15 minutes long. You can go and look it up, but the resolution to the skit is he just goes, yes, 7 perpendicular lines, I can do that, and then he hands them something. He just hands them 7 straight red lines. But because sometimes you just gotta kind of ignore them and be like, okay, I'm just gonna try and guess what you want. And a lot of times that you just guess, and they're like, all right, yeah, thanks, that works great. But yeah, that's the value of being a pro. That's like, the guys who make the money in this industry are not the guys who write code really well, unless you're like a Triton programmer or something, you're doing really weird, obscure shit. But the guys who make the money are the guys who can manage those conversations and figure out what the customer actually wants. All right, I think I lost my article. There we go. Effective harnesses for long-running agents. Okay, let's pull it back up. Can we get some dark mode? No? Okay, sorry. Sorry about the flashbang, but that's how it is. In the Claude.ai clone example, this meant over 200 features, such as a user can open a new chat, type in a query, press enter, and see an AI response.
I see, yeah.
These features were all initially marked as failing so that later coding agents would have a clear outline of what full functionality looked like. We prompt coding agents to only edit this file. This is getting into the weeds, so I think we can skip a little bit. It's essential that the model leaves the environment in a clean state. I had hoped this was more general about AI doing tasks, but it looks like this is specifically about programming. This research demonstrates one possible set of solutions in a long-running agent harness to enable the model to make incremental progress across many context windows. However, there remain open questions. Most notably, it's still unclear whether a single general-purpose coding agent performs best across contexts, or if better performance can be achieved through a multi-agent architecture. It seems reasonable that a specialized agent like a testing agent, a quality assurance agent, or a code cleanup agent could do an even better job at subtasks across the software development lifecycle. Additionally, this demo is optimized for full-stack web app development. A future direction is to generalize these findings to other fields. It's likely that some or all of these lessons can be applied to the types of long-running agentic tasks required in, for example, scientific research or financial modeling. Oh, that's the end. Okay. That's a little disappointing, actually. I thought it had more. I thought there would be more juice to that. Let's see, did I have anything else? Let's see, let me look. Oh, there! Yeah. Here we go. Okay, now we're getting spicy. Okay. Speaking of demographic issues. Yeah, this, it seems like this article is making a pretty big impact. Ooh, where'd TwitchCat go? Where did TwitchCat? Twitch chat. There we go. This article seems to be making a pretty big impact, and it's cool. You know, everyone who was clued in knew about this stuff a decade ago, but
That's a feature wine.
It's a feature, yeah. But creating articles like this creates common knowledge. It's like, you know, this is getting the message out to the normies. Could you not? Can I use? Okay, it's just gonna be on the left side of the screen. That's okay. For 15 tickets, For 15 years, I've scalped tickets to pay the bills. But in January 2016, I almost managed a real career. I was 31. I'd been in Los Angeles for 5 years writing scripts. There had been minor successes, a couple of small projects optioned, and I'd recently started writing with my best friend.
Not a great way to open your article.
We were writing constantly, making each other better, building momentum. Success felt close. Back then, it always did.
Been a parasite for 15 years and there.
15 years, yeah. We'd written a pilot script that a veteran showrunner had agreed, in a very theoretical, very Hollywood sort of way, to come on to. That project had fizzled, so we were surprised when an executive emailed us out of the blue to meet. The showrunner explained he'd submitted us for an upcoming writer's room he was going to run. The exec had loved our pilot and wanted to hire us. This was it, the moment our careers were supposed to take off. We'd put in our time. I'd been tutoring SATs and reselling tickets to make ends meet while I wrote, and 5 years seemed par for the course, based on the slightly older guys we knew who'd made it. But of course, by 2016, we were already too late. The showrunner emailed us back apologetically. I had initially thought I might be able to bring you guys on, but in the end it wasn't possible. We met with the executive anyway, a Gen X white guy, who told us how much he loved our pilot. But the writer's room was small, he explained apologetically, and the higher-level writers were all white men. They couldn't have an all-white male room. Maybe, if the show got another season, they'd be able to bring us on. They never did. The doors seemed to close everywhere and all at once. In 2011, the year I moved to Los Angeles, white men were 48% of lower-level TV writers. By 2024, they accounted for just 11.9%. The Atlantic's editorial staff went from 53% male and 89% white in 2013 to 36% male and 66% white in 2024. White men fell from 39% of tenure-track positions in the humanities at Harvard in 2014 to 18% in 2023. In retrospect, 2014 was the hinge, the year DEI became institutionalized across American life. In industry after industry, gatekeepers promised extra consideration to anyone who wasn't a white man. and then provided just that. With every announcement of promotions, there was a desire to put extra emphasis on gender or race, a former management consultant recalled, and when you don't fall into those groups, that message gets louder and louder and gains more and more emphasis. On the one hand, you want to celebrate people who have been at a disadvantage. On the other hand, you look and you say, wow, the world is not rooting for you. In fact, it's deliberately rooting against you. As the Trump administration takes a chainsaw to the diversity, equity, and inclusion apparatus, there's a tendency to portray DEI as a series of well-meaning but ineffectual HR modules. Undoubtedly, there has been ham-fisted DEI programming that is intrusive or even alienating, explained Kingana Yamada-Taylor in The New Yorker, but for the most part, it is a relatively benign practice meant to increase diversity. What does increased diversity mean? While also sending a message that workplaces should be fair and open to everyone, except white men. This may be how Boomer and Gen X white men experienced DEI. But for white male millennials, DEI wasn't a gentle rebalancing. It was a profound shift in how power and prestige were distributed. Yet practically none of the thousands of articles and think pieces about diversity have considered the issue by cohort. This isn't a story about all white men. It's a story about white male millennials in professional America, about those who stayed and those who mostly stayed quiet. The same identity, a decade apart, meant entirely different professional fates. If you were 40 in 2014, born in 1974, beginning your career in the late 90s, you were already established. If you were 30 in 2014, you hit the wall. Because the mandates to diversify didn't fall on older white men, who in many cases still wield enormous power, they landed on us. It may be hard to remember now, but a decade ago, the prevailing critique of American journalism was that it was woefully lacking in gender and racial diversity. There had been hope that the new media would be different, that the internet might bring a wider range of voices. But by the mid-2010s, that optimism was waning. New media ventures like Vox, BuzzFeed, and Politico are trying to shake up the way people get their news and entertainment online, NPR reported in 2014. But critics say those newsrooms and leadership roles are overwhelmingly made up of white men. The critics were mostly right. Gawker was still 57% male and 79% white. Vice was majority male and 70% white. At 5:38, Nate Silver complained about a gender gap so severe that only 15% of applications were for women. It was into this world that Andrew arrived in 2015. He took a job at a prominent new media organization and was put on the general assignment desk, monitoring breaking news and cranking out overnight write-ups. It was rewarding, he told me. But if you can imagine working a full-time gig, nights, weekends, and then on top of that, trying to build up a beat on the side that could eventually propel you into something sustainable, it's always difficult. He enjoyed the work and developed a beat. There was still a general optimism in the air, especially around new media. I had very well-regarded deep dives and occasionally scoops, he said. I had credibility as someone who had come from a more left-leaning perspective, was well-sourced on the left, but was willing to give them a kick in the teeth every now and then. At the time, it felt like really about holding power to account and giving new ideas a fair airing. After college, before he'd moved into journalism, Andrew had worked in the nonprofit world. Ambient talk about diversity and power structures had been part of the general atmosphere, and he'd never much thought about it. In any progressive space, there are always at least some concern about representation, he explained. I did not see that in any way impeding my advancement for the first 6 or 7 years of my career. But that view became harder to sustain. In 2019, David Haskell, who had just been named editor-in-chief of New York Magazine, was asked to respond to staff disappointment that another white man had been elevated to the role. I understand that reaction. Part of me shares it, he told his staff. The most effective way to move the needle on diversity hiring is for a strong, loud commitment to come from the very top of the masthead. I plan to do exactly that. Andrew didn't work at New York, but he watched similar pressures reshape his newsroom. He'd been there for 5 years, a beat reporter who couldn't seem to move up, and suddenly all anybody could talk about were diversity metrics. Management was, as he put it, obsessive about recruiting people of color. But the pool was small, and anyone promising was quickly poached by the New York Times or cable news. With all the declarations these newsrooms had been making, the imperatives, enough white guys already, seemed to me to be the mantra, he told me.
The people who got theirs Don't care if things stop working. The needle will only ever go in one direction.
Yep. With all the... and you couldn't help but wonder if that meant you were being passed up for opportunities, even in your own organization. Institutions pursuing diversity decide that there would be no backsliding. If a position was vacated by a woman or person of color, the expectation was that it would be filled by another woman or person of color. The hope was always that you were going to hire a diverse candidate, a senior hiring editor at a major outlet told me. If there was a black woman at the beginning of her career you wanted to hire, you could find someone. But if she was any good, you know she would get accelerated to the New York Times or the Washington Post in short order. The truth is, after years of concerted effort, most news outlets had already reached and quietly surpassed gender parity. By 2019, the newsrooms of ProPublica, the Washington Post, and the New York Times were majority female, as were new media upstarts Vice, Vox, BuzzFeed, and the Huffington Post. And then 2020 happened and the wheels came off. In the aftermath of George Floyd's death, newsrooms tripped over themselves to stage a reckoning. The New York Times solemnly promised sweeping reforms on top of the sweeping reforms it had already promised. The Washington Post declared it would become the most diverse and inclusive newsroom in the country. CNN pledged a sustained commitment to race coverage, while Bon Appetit confessed that our mastheads have been far too white for far too long, and that the magazine had tokenized many BIPOC staffers and contributors, which... this is also tokenization. Like, you are hiring black people just to make yourself look good. That's tokenization. NPR went further still, declaring that diversity was nothing less than its North Star. These weren't empty slogans either. In 2021, new hires at Condé Nast were just 25% male and 49% white. At the California Times, parent company of the Los Angeles Times, the San Diego Union Tribune, they were just 39% male and 31% white. That year, ProPublica hired 66% women and 58% people of color. At NPR, 78% of new hires were people of color. For a typical job, we'd get a couple hundred applications, probably at least 80 from white guys, the hiring editor recalled. It was a given that we weren't going to hire the best person. It was jarring how he would talk about excluding white guys. You notice my voice becomes less silly as I realize that this guy is on my side. The pipeline hadn't changed much. White men were nearly half the applicants, but they were now filling closer to 10% of open positions. Suddenly, in Andrew's newsroom, everything was driven by identity. There were endless diversity trainings, a racial climate assessment. At one point, reporters were told they had to catalog, in minute detail, the identity characteristics of all their sources. Andrew had been instrumental in forming the union at his company and objected when negotiations shifted from severance pay and parental leaves to demands for racial quotas. They wanted to do, like, emergency hires of black people, he said. When he questioned these new priorities, the response was swift. On a Zoom call, women would clap back at something I was saying, and other women would snap their fingers in the chat window. He recalled, it was this whole subcultural language being introduced wholesale. Desperate for advancement, he'd had the same job, the same title for nearly 6 years. Andrew looked elsewhere. I applied for positions at the Atlantic, Politico, CNN, the Washington Post, 3 different desks at the New York Times, he told me. But newsrooms were contracting, which only made the competition more intense. When scarcity sets in, you start to worry about these things a little bit more. Andrew reflected. This was a business model problem that was exacerbated by the racial and gender preference problem. At the Atlantic, Andrew didn't even get an interview. Jeffrey Goldberg, the editor-in-chief, had described his hiring philosophy back in 2019. By opening up the possibilities of younger people, women, and people of color, by imagining their rise in a deliberate way, I've just widened the pool of potential leadership. There's no quota system here. Goldberg was candid about another, less comfortable reality. It's really hard to write a 10,000-word cover story, he said in that same interview. There are not a lot of journalists in America who can do it. The journalists in America who can do it are almost exclusively white males. With or without quotas, the Atlantic succeeded in hiring fewer of these white males. Since 2020, nearly 2/3 of the Atlantic's hires have been women, along with nearly 50% people of color. In 2024, The Atlantic announced that 3/4 of editorial hires in the past year had been women, and 69% people of color. The irony was, where older white men remained in charge, especially where they remained in charge, there was almost no room to move up. If you hired a team of white guys around you, you were putting a target on your back, recalled the hiring editor. At the New York Times Magazine, one of the few prestige magazines with a public masthead, Jake Silverstein, a Gen X white man, serves as editor-in-chief, and Bill Wassick, another Gen X white man, serves as editorial director. But of 9 millennial senior editors and story editors below them, there's just one white guy, and he's been there since 2012, effectively grandfathered in. At the very bottom of the ladder, the picture is a little different. Since 2020, only 7.7% of Los Angeles Times interns have been white men. Between 2018 and 2024, of the roughly 30 summer interns each year at the Washington Post, just 2 or 3 were white men. In 2025, coincident with certain political shifts, the Post intern class had 7 white guys, numbers not seen since way back in 2014. In 2018, the New York Times replaced its summer internship with a year-long fellowship. Just 10% of the nearly 220 fellows have been white men. Other pipelines dried up as well. The alt weeklies that gave misfit young men their start have shed them entirely. There are no white men on the editorial staff of the Seattle Stranger or the staff of Indie Week. As late as 2017, there were 6 white men atop the masthead for the Portland Mercury. By 2024, there was just one, the boomer editor-in-chief. By the early 2020s, many journalists I spoke to noticed something else. The young white men who had once flooded internship and fellowship pools had simply stopped applying. Gen Z men had absorbed the message that journalism was not for them. The femaleness is striking, a well-known Gen X reporter with impeccable liberal bona fides confided. It's like, wow, where have the guys gone? In less than a decade, the entire face of the industry changed. The New York Times newsroom has gone from 57% male and 78% white in 2015 to 46% male and 66% white in 2024. Condé, this is just stats. I'll skip the stats. But nothing explains the new media story quite like Vox, whose explainers dominated 2010's discourse and whose internal demographics capture the decade's professional shift. Again, when Ezra Klein came under fire for his startup's lack of diversity, 82% male, 88% white. By 2025, 73% female. The demographic shift reshaped not only who told the stories, but which stories got told. After George Floyd's death, Andrew's colleague, Lucas, was assigned a piece about why you should never call the police. I remember having to interview one of those abolitionists for a story about how if someone breaks into your car or home, it's white supremacy to call the cops, even if you need it for an insurance report, Lucas told me. That always made me feel gross. I think back on that with a lot of regret. Newsrooms were center-left places in 2005, rather. The prominent Gen X reporter told me. Now they're incredibly left places. I imagine one reason newsrooms have gotten more explicitly lefty is that you have white guys and white women adopting a kind of protective coloration, allyship mindset to get through the door. Andrew, for his part, was unable to adopt the performative allyship that had become expected. I always thought I was an effeminate nerd growing up, but my way of expressing myself now puts me on the most masculine end of men in media, he told me. I started to pick up on the fact that there wasn't much room for people who even speak in my timbre. He was recruited for a senior reporter position at a more prestigious outlet, jumping through hoops every step of the way, as he told me. But by the end, it felt like a cruel joke. Extensive interviews, writing tests, endless meetings with various editors, only to find out months later that the job had gone to someone a decade younger than him, a gay man of color, who'd managed to go from intern to assistant editor to senior reporter in less than 2 years. If you're a white man, you gotta be the superstar, Andrew told me. You can't help feeling like no matter how good you were born in the wrong year. As he saw it, the industry had its super successful white guys who'd made it before 2014 and so were functionally Gen X. But for everyone else, moving up into contract industry was nearly impossible. I was kind of grandfathered in during one era and had achieved a level going into 2015 to 2024 where it just didn't really affect me, one of these superstar journalists told me. After surviving years of buyouts, Andrew finally made senior reporter in 2023. But by then, it felt less like recognition than a consolation prize. He was coming up on 40, unmarried, with little room for forward or lateral movement. When the next round of buyouts hit, he decided it was time to leave. There are many stories we tell ourselves about race and gender, especially in academia, but the one thing everyone I spoke to seemed to agree on is it's best not to talk about it. At least not in public, at least not with your name attached. The humanities are so small, a millennial professor nervously explained. There's a difference between thinking something and making common knowledge that you think it, said another. So it came as a bit of a shock when David Austin Walsh, a Yale postdoc and left-wing Twitter personality, decided to detonate any chance he had at a career with a single tweet. I'm 35 years old, I'm 4 years post-PhD, and quite frankly, I'm also a white dude, he wrote on X. Combine those factors together, and I'm for all intents and purposes unemployable as a 20th century American historian. The pile-on was swift and vicious. You are all just laughable, wrote the New York Times' Nicole Hannah-Jones. Have you seen the data on professorships? White males are 30% of the U.S. population, but nearly 40% of faculty, tweeted a tenured professor at GWU. Hard to make the case for systemic discrimination. It didn't matter that as far back as 2012, women were more likely to be tenure-track across the humanities than men, or that a 2015 peer-reviewed study suggested that STEM hiring favored women, or even that CUPAHR, an association of academic DEI professionals, found that assistant professors of color and female assistant professors are overrepresented in comparison to U.S. doctoral degree recipients. As in other industries, what mattered were the optics. When people looked at academia, they still saw old white men. Lots of them. A big part of why it's hard to diversify is the turnover is really slow, a tenured millennial professor explained. That's become worse now because boomers live a long time. Many elite universities once had a mandatory retirement at 70. But in 1994, Congress sunsetted the academic exception for age discrimination, locking in the demographics of the largely white male professorate for a generation. White men may still be 55% of Harvard's Arts and Sciences faculty, down from 63% a decade ago, but this is a legacy of Boomer and Gen X employment patterns. For tenure-track positions, the pipeline for future faculty, white men have gone from 49% in 2014 to 27% in 2024. In the humanities, they've gone from 39% to 21%. The pipeline and the cohorts haven't changed much. Newly minted humanities PhDs have been evenly split between men and women for over a decade now, and white men outnumber over groups in most applicant pools. But who was getting hired certainly did. At Berkeley, white men were 48.2% of faculty applicants in the physical sciences, but only 26% of hires for assistant professor positions. Since 2018, only 14.6% of tenure-track assistant professors hired at Yale have been white American men. In the humanities, that number was just 6 out of 76, 7.9%. The white men who do get hired are often older and more established, or foreign. Several people I spoke to noticed that European white men don't seem to face these barriers. That reason, one professor suggested, is that they exist slightly outside the American culture wars. Another is an administrative sleight of hand. Federal Education Statistics, IPEDS, classify foreign nationals outside racial categories. In other words, a white European on a work visa doesn't register as white in diversity metrics. Among new PhDs with definite academic employment plans, white temporary visa holders are nearly twice as likely as white U.S. citizens or permanent residents to secure tenure-track positions, 61% versus 33% in 2023. I think I'm running out of voice, so we might skip to the end. You can basically get, the Berkeley commissioned regression analyses to identify which quasi-legal strategies would produce the fewest number of white male job offers. Cluster hiring. The way you try to demographically diversify without making it explicit is searching in areas where the areas are strongly correlated with gender or ethnicity. An Ivy League professor explained to me. A cluster hire in Latinx studies will gain you several Latinx faculty. A professor of transgender studies will in all likelihood not be a straight cis man. And a white male assistant professor of black sexualities is closer to an SNL sketch than any lived reality in 2024. All this left little oxygen for anyone else. James spent nearly a decade, first at Yale Law, then at a top classics program, watching his professional pathways narrow until they seemingly disappeared. He saw people he knew, as long as they fit the right demographic profile, bypass open searches and receive tenure-track offers before they even finished their PhDs. My own advisors would say very openly, they're just two completely different hiring schemes, he told me. They're just two completely different categories of person. Let's see. Can we skip to the end here? He's kind of spamming stats. He is focusing a lot on media and... yeah. Let's see. Over Matt's 14 years in Hollywood, the changes have been staggering. In 2011, when he and I moved to California... and more stats... Since 2021, 11 directors under 40 have been nominated for Emmys. None have been white men. I saw this graveyard of people not too dissimilar from me, Peter, the assistant to the Gen X showrunner, told me. Peter, who graduated from a top 5 college in the early 2010s, watched slightly older millennial men wait for a break that never came. They were like, hey, I'm going to take this kind of shit job for 2 years. Oh, wait, I can do it for 3 more years. Suddenly they're married, having kids. They just didn't get the deal. It was never going to happen for them. Ever. Peter eventually left the tech world. It's a lot better to actually know you're about to get hit by a car than not know, he told me. The tragedy of our generation is just thinking the world is a certain way and all. That single episode of network television from 2014 remains Matt's only produced credit. When we last spoke, he was commuting to his menial day job. Newly single, with tens of thousands of credit card debt, he has recurring fantasies of changing his name and moving to Thailand to escape his creditors. Sweet one-bedroom, VPN access to American TV and film content. The dream. Why is this music so repetitive? For a decade, it kept going, faster and faster. Without any actual quotas to achieve, only the constant exhortation to do better, the diversity complex became self-radicalizing, a strange confluence of top-down and bottom-up pressure. No one ever said what the right number of white men would be, but it was always fewer than you currently had. The boundaries shifted depending on the industry in the moment. A white woman might be favored in some context, disfavored in others. An Asian American man might face extra obstacles in tech or medicine. But if he wanted to be a screenwriter or an English professor, the system worked in his favor. But for younger white men, any professional success was fundamentally a problem for institutions to solve. For younger white men, any professional success was fundamentally a problem for institutions to solve. And solve it they did. Over the course of the 2010s, nearly every mechanism liberal America used to confer prestige was reweighted along identitarian lines. 7 white male Gen Xers won the MacArthur Genius Fellowship in 2013 alone, the same as the total number of white male millennials who've won since. In 2014, 2 white male millennials were National Book Award finalists, including one winner. That year, 9 white male American artists, he's going back into numbers. The white men shut out of the culture industries didn't surge into the other high-status fields. They didn't suddenly flood advertising, law, or medicine, which are all less white and significantly less male than they were a decade ago. The shift in medicine has been even more dramatic. In 2014, white men were 31% of American medical students. By 2025, they were just 20%. A 10 percentage point drop. Is that how percentage points work? I don't think that's... Journalists usually get percentages and percentage points wrong. And I don't claim to get them right either. But in barely over a decade. At every step, there's some form of selection, a millennial oncologist told me. Medical school admissions, residency programs, chief resident positions, fellowships. Each stage tilts away from white men or white-adjacent men. The white guy is now the token. Nor was tech much of a refuge. At Google, white men went from nearly half the workforce in 2014 to less than a third by 2024, a 34% decline. In 2014, at Amazon, entry-level professionals, college graduates just starting out, were 42.3% white male. These were the employees who, if they'd advanced normally over the next decade, would be the mid-level managers of today. But mid-level Amazon managers fell from 55.8% white male in 2014 to just 33.8% in 2024, a decline of nearly 40%. The pipeline was never 50-50, a former management consultant explained. At least elite business schools remained about 60% male and predominantly white throughout the 2020s. But we were hiring as if it were 50-50 anyway. For a lot of guys in their mid-30s, around 2017 to 2018, it was a quite dramatic shift. One tech-adjacent journalist told me, they're all like, whoa, suddenly every door is closed. I'm just not going to move ahead at this company at all. Because it's been lightly and sometimes not so lightly communicated to me that there's just no way the job I want is going to be given to a white guy. A whole generation found their path was blocked. The refuges that young white men did find, crypto, podcasting, Substack, were refuges precisely because institutional barriers to entry didn't exist. A friend who's now an executive at a major crypto company scraped by as a freelance film editor for years. He applied to Netflix 5 times. Eventually he was told explicitly that they didn't need more white guys. He didn't go into crypto because it was high status. Hollywood, the high status industry, wouldn't have him. The DEI departments have mostly shut down or quietly rebranded. The mountains of reports and glossy PDFs have been quietly scrubbed as if to hide the evidence. What was the justification for gutting the American meritocracy? No one seems to know. It's tempting to wave it all away as secular decline, white men abandoning fields that were losing status or economic value. But the timing doesn't line up. The sharpest declines in opportunity for younger white men didn't happen during the rolling crises of the past few years. They were baked in during the mid-2010s when new media was expanding coverage, universities were growing, and Hollywood was at peak TV. Which raises some uncomfortable questions. Is the media more trusted now than a decade ago? Is Hollywood making better films than television? Is academia more respected? Have these institutions become stronger since they systematically excluded an entire cohort? Or did abandoning meritocracy accelerate their decline? The fact that other groups in other eras have faced worse discrimination, that in the grand scheme of things the disenfranchisement of white male millennials was relatively mild, is not itself an argument. Especially when the entire liberal establishment insists that nothing actually happened and the mild correction was in fact no correction at all, and that any white man harmed in the process was in fact mediocre. Because what they're really saying is, we weren't supposed to notice. Over the past 2 years, I've spoken with dozens of white male millennials, excavating hopes and dreams, disappointments and resentments. To a man, they insisted on anonymity. There were frenzied pre-publication negotiations. Skip. Gratitude and relief. Most of the men I interviewed started out as liberals, some still are, but to feel the weight of society's disfavor can be disorienting. We millennials were true believers in race and gender-blind meritocracy, which for all its faults, its naivete about human nature, its optimism in the American dream, was far superior to what replaced it. And to see that vision so spectacularly betrayed has engendered a skepticism towards the entire liberal project that won't soon disappear.
It wasn't an accidental or natural bout of group madness. It was a carefully organized sabotage.
Yep. What troubles me is that a lot of thriving white millennial men have had to follow the Josh Hawley path, where you have to leave liberal America. An old friend, the father of 2 biracial children, told me, I don't want to do that. Liberal America is my home. But if everyone says this is not the place for you, what are you supposed to do? So I think we've basically got the meat of it. Let's see. It's strange and more than a little poisonous to see yourself buffeted by forces beyond your control, but there's also a comfort in it. Because it's less painful to scroll through other people's IMDb pages late at night, figuring out what shortcut, race, gender connections they took to success, than to grapple with the fact that there are white men my age who've succeeded, and I am not one of them. I could have worked harder, I could have networked better, I could have been better. The truth is, I'm not some extraordinary talent who was passed over, I'm an ordinary talent. And in ordinary times, that would have been enough. There's a wounded pride here, how could there not be? I have 2 sons. I used to imagine long before they were born that I would take them to film sets, that I'd bring them along to exotic locations. Instead, their father spends most of his working day in his bedroom, scrolling through spreadsheets and ticket listings. What do I say when my boys ask about my old hopes and dreams? What do I tell them when they ask about theirs? So yeah, the thing is, even if there are some who take this article to say, oh, well, are you saying that only white men are good at writing or tech? Well, no. It's just that, as they said, you know, blacks are like 10% of the people applying. So if you say, hey, you have to cut out 90% of the applicants, you are not going to get as high a quality of applicants as if you were just selecting the best. It's not that, oh, black people are just stupid. It's that racism is a stupid policy. It's a stupid, destructive policy. It was destructive when we did it to black people in the 60s. It's destructive today when we do it to whites. And as you said, yeah, it's not like everyone just went nuts all at once. This was a deliberate, frankly, this was a conspiracy. There were, you know, you can see if you watch Kirsha, she's been covering this for years. She will watch videos put out by like Sherm, and she goes after this company called Bridge, who are kind of a DEI consultancy. She would get mad if I said that. She would be like, no, Bridge is the monitoring company that you pay to make sure that you pay them to make sure that you're meeting your DEI goals. But there are all these companies that openly advocate, yes, our goal is to create privilege for people who have the skin colors and identities that we like. And also, you know, by the way, if you're a black guy watching this and you're like, hey, you know, a hand up, see, you know, sounds nice to me. It sucks for you, but it's nice for me. Well, do you really think that a black guy who doesn't agree with the DEI hiring manager about politics, doesn't talk like her, doesn't look exactly like her, do you think he's going to get ahead? Or the guy, the woman, the transgender woman probably, who talks and looks and thinks like the DEI people, that's the person who's going to get the advantage. It is, frankly, an attempt to take over corporate America. It's a deliberate conspiracy to take over our corporations, take over our institutions, take over the government, to implement their preferred racial hierarchy. It's, to be brutally frank, DEI is how you sell fascism to people in 2025, or to people in the 21st century. And, you know, fascism, communism, they're the same thing in practice, but, you know, communism is historically less focused on race. Typically it was the fascists who were the people who called themselves fascist or got called fascist. I know, you know, Hitler called himself a National Socialist. He rejected the fascist label, but it was typically that side of it who were focused on the racial stuff. And frankly, I think being able to credibly say DEI is fascism is a...
I think the people taking over are pawns.
Yeah. So are you referring to the idea of, like, Bezmenov saying there's the people in control and then there's the useful idiots? Because, again, Kirsha, she really believes in that. I think I kind of disagree with that framing, because Bezmenov, like...
They are the hammer to break the system.
Yeah. So, I'll tell you what I think happened. When Bezmenov was talking about, like, the people in control, I forget the term he used, versus the useful idiots, the people in control were...
So that you can move in after the fact.
Yeah. The people who were in control, the non-useful idiots, were KGB agents. Like, literal working for the KGB. You know, trained by the KGB, or similar organizations. I'm sure they had more than just that one. But I think that it actually is all useful idiots. What I think happened is the Soviets deliberately created these movements. Like if you look at, okay, where does the Palestine stuff come from? How come you have Queers for Palestine? Well, the reason is because there was Soviet infiltration of early gay rights and anti-colonialist movements. These were organic movements that arose because of real problems, but then the Soviets took them over and hollowed them out and had actual, honest-to-God, KGB agents, or KGB assets in a lot of cases, running these organizations.
They can take over anything.
Exactly, especially if no one was willing to believe that this was happening.
Including anti-communist movements.
Absolutely, yes. The Nazis, in the early days of the Holocaust, there were a lot of supposedly anti-Nazi organizations.
Actually, those are the primary target.
Yep. There were anti-Nazi, defending ourselves against the Holocaust organizations in Germany that were all run by SS agents. And when the shit hit the fan, the SS agent who ran the organization turned in all the people who signed up to fight. Like, this is classic shit. This has been what these organizations do. This has been what intelligence agencies do since the dawn of intelligence agencies. However, like I said, I think it is all just the useful idiots because the Soviet Union collapsed. Now, there is still China, and I'm sure there is Chinese intelligence agency infiltration of organizations. But I think basically what happened is the Soviets engaged in meme warfare. The Soviets created or corrupted these ideas, and the ideas persisted even after the Soviet Union collapsed. What is happening to America is Cold War psychological UXO, unexploded ordnance. In conventional war, you drop bombs, you lay mines, and those don't just, some of the bombs don't go off, and the mines, they don't just disappear when peace is declared. They're still there. It's unexploded ordnance. Our brains are colonized by Cold War psychological UXO. These organizations are running amok. They were designed to destroy America, and
I don't think so.
They were designed to destroy America, and they are still serving that purpose, even though the Soviet Union no longer exists. Now, so what is your point of disagreement with that? Because, yeah, it is, like, it could be the Chinese.
The enemy never went away.
There is also that, the KGB didn't just evaporate when the Union collapsed, but I imagine whatever organizations stuck around are less well-funded and less well-connected than the KGB. And yeah, it is absolutely true. I agree that the enemy never went away.
The particular organizational structure partially collapsed.
Yeah. My thinking is, okay, what about the funding and connections? What about, like, the physical, like, buying plane tickets to move people around? What happened to that? Because I feel like, maybe not most, but at least, like, half of that capability must have went away in they called it the Glasnost, right? The collapse of the Soviet Union.
There are people who want to enslave humankind, basically.
Yeah, that's what communism has always been. Communism is when everyone, the government enslaves everyone, and everyone is a slave to the people who run the government. That's how it always works out in practice.
The Soviet Union was just a very successful project.
Okay, so you think that the problem actually predates communism, if I'm reading you correctly.
I think so.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that has always been, like, there have always been conquerors. There have always been, since the dawn of recorded history, people who tried to go around and enslave everyone. I guess, yeah. Yeah, that sounds plausible.
There's secret society religions, stuff like that.
Ah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm a member of some secret societies.
Believe in perfect government, being a divine goal.
Yeah. I mean, like the founding fathers of the United States.
A task from God.
Exactly. That was what they did. They believed that they had been called on by God to build a new nation that is better than any that had come before. And the fucking crazy thing about the American Revolution is that they succeeded. It actually, like, you would never expect people who did what the Founding Fathers did for it to actually work. Like, you would expect them to stack the deck in their own favor and take over, but most of the Founding Fathers died penniless.
It's an idea that appeals to control freaks.
Absolutely.
I mean, not the American idea.
Well, if you look into it, I think, like, yeah, the American Revolution came from it. The American Revolution was a Masonic conspiracy. That's historical fact. It was the Masons. The Founding Fathers, most of them were Masons. Freemasons, not like literal stone layer Masons. But, and yeah, I mean, even before, like, the Masons, the Masons came out of guilds in the medieval era. Like, there probably were guilds who were conspiring to, I don't know, usurp the king. And it's plausible, sure, that there are continuous through lines into today. Jeez. I mean, there's things like the Jacobin Society, who were big influences on the Bolsheviks, who founded the Soviet Union. But yeah, that's, the thing is, it's easy. I like to say I'm a conspiracy atheorist, you know?
I know very little about this stuff, BBH.
Yeah, I mean, me too. This is part of the project of this channel, is to talk about it, to spread what I've learned so far, but also...
There's clearly a couple competing ideas.
Absolutely. But also to, you know, to figure this stuff out together, because, you know, I ain't that smart. I can't do this all on my own. But yeah, there are clearly competing groups, yeah. But yeah, conspiracies happen. Most of the change that has happened in politics is fundamentally the result of conspiracies. And yeah, secret societies exist. They absolutely exist because I've witnessed them personally. And even not just secret societies, but just scenes, like the rationalist scene. There's nothing secret about it. They meet at Lighthaven. I can pull up Lighthaven. Like, the place they meet has a web page. Like, right here, it's a beautiful place. But people go to this place and they talk about, like, a bunch of powerful tech people and theorists. They talk about how do we steer the future towards the goals we like. I mean, they even say, past programs we hosted were run by help early career researchers break into the field of AI alignment. This all comes down from Eliezer Yudkowsky being concerned about AI, being terrified of uncontrolled AI, and starting a movement to train people up, indoctrinate them into the idea that AI is dangerous, and send them into AI labs. And Sam Altman, the CEO and founder of OpenAI, he even, I could probably maybe pull it up. Altman on Yudkowsky. There was a tweet. Let's see, can we find this? Here's Yudkowsky's Twitter. Yeah, this isn't relevant, but Sam Altman put out a tweet saying, yeah, Yudkowsky is our best recruiting agent. And he was saying this to mock Yudkowsky, but think about what you just said, buddy. Your main recruiting guy is your enemy. Have you thought about the consequences of that? Well, we know the consequences of that because guess where Anthropic came from?
You can be open about what you're doing if you basically control the opposition.
See, like in the case of the rationalist movement, I'm kind of on the edge of it these days, so I alternate between we and they. But, like, they don't think they're doing anything wrong. And I mean, the DEI people, they go to these conferences, they have websites, they'll talk about this is a different bridge than the one.
And really, there's no opposition because everyone is clueless about anything. Everything.
Absolutely, yeah. Like, in a lot of cases, like, these DEI firms, they operate openly. They will openly say, our goal is to reduce the number of white men in the workforce. Our goal is to make sure there are no jobs for white men. And they just talk about it openly. Because they don't think they're doing anything wrong. And most people just don't care to look.
It's just highly motivated people interested in politics.
Absolutely.
Most people can't be bothered.
Yeah. Well, hopefully there are enough good people in, like, media, in streaming, and the other non-gate-kept forms of media who can call attention to these things. But that's all the voice endurance I have for tonight. So we got the thing done. Let me look for someone to raid. I'm going to send you to Uoslab on Twitch again. Let's see, do we have any YouTube viewers? No, we don't. Okay, won't bother with a YouTube raid. Have fun with Mr. Slab. I don't need to tell you this because it's only you here, but I want to get into the habit of saying this.
So you think the people against AI are evil?
Well, I alternate between saying I'm one of them and saying them. So they're not evil, but they are really weird. I wish I could tell you some of the things I've seen at these events. But, yeah, I mean, the things they are trying to do in terms of AI are good, but they also, I don't know, maybe I'll show you sometime some of the other things they push for, like the cuck shit, you know? They also push for polyamory. They want to... There is a large... I don't think they're even a minority. A lot of the people in the rationalist movement... Well, like effective altruism. The effective altruist movement is the kind of the charity arm of the rationalist movement, and they want, like, one of their goals is to, they talk about ending animal suffering, ending factory farming, but what that cashes out to is banning meat and replacing it with lab-grown meat and bugs. Like, they are on board with that project. So it's like they're not evil. It's just, like you said, there are competing ideas and competing groups who want different things. So yeah, I'll send you over to Uo's Lab. Had fun with them. When I send you to non-political streamers, don't bring up politics in their chat, because that would get me in trouble. And if anyone does, starting shit in other people...
Surreal for the stream.
Yep. If anyone does starting shit in other people's chats, obviously that'll get you in trouble here, too. I know you won't, but I want to get in the habit of doing that spiel at the end. So, raid, Uwo, Slab. Have fun with Mr. Slab. And I will see you all next time.